So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ames's Corner here at Approved Auto in Plastow, New Hampshire. So boy, it's a hot one. It's been a hot week this week. Just haven't had the energy to put out much of a video, just because I'm just too busy sweating and trying to stay on target and focus with the jobs coming out. But I got this Acura TL in here. Kind of a neat looking car. I really like these Acuras. Good build quality, good power, good handling. And I think they stop great stock. But this guy's got some bigger wheels. He's got his rusty calipers, and he went out and ordered himself some nice high performance brakes for it. He's got some nice, look like OE, but powder coated red calipers. Some nice slotted and cross drilled rotors going on it. Looks like we got real good with actual left and right brakes. I know you guys might remember that Cutlass had the rotors installed backwards, and we fixed that last year. But at least these look like we're going to be able to do them the right way. Nice Evolution carbon ceramic brake pads going on it. I think this thing stopped great, but you know, I think this is more for looks than anything else. So I think the best way to show you guys this is just going to be a quick time lapse. So let me get set up, and we'll get some fresh, pretty binders on this one here. How about that? Hey guys, so we just got that performance brake job on this Acura all done. Pretty straightforward on this car, on these cars. Sometimes the parking brake is tied into the caliper, and that can make it a little more of a project doing rear calipers on some of these cars. But this one had the drum brake, parking brake on the rear. So yeah, let's do a little bed-in procedure. After you do a brake job, you wanna mate the surfaces of the brake pads and the rotor together. And basically what you do is you bring the brakes right about to their fade limit. Get them good and hot so you smell them cooking a little bit. You don't want to come to a complete stop until the brakes have cooled down after you've done that. So the way they say to do it is 5 or 6 stops from 40 or 50 miles an hour down to about 10. And then a couple of hard stops, and then a little bit of cruising just to get some air through the brakes. So we'll get out on the main road here. Hopefully we won't have anybody behind us. I find it's kind of hard to go from 40 to 10 without pissing some people off behind you, but looks like that might be the case. And those first couple of times are gonna really kind of suck. The brakes might feel funny. It might not stop as quick as you would think it should, but that's just because some of these rotors have a finish on them. Some of the pads have a glaze from when they're manufactured. So I'm actually going to do this a little differently because I don't have a racetrack to bed these brakes on. But pretty much the important thing is just to get the brakes hot after you do a brake job, and then not come to a complete stop. What happens when you come to a complete stop? The whole rotor's hot. You're getting it hot to get it bedded in. And then if you stop somewhere, you get the caliper hot too. And the caliper keeps the heat where you stop, and then the rest of the rotor will cool down. It can warp them. Sometimes the resins in the pad can bond to the rotor and cause kind of a high spot that'll cause a pulsation and all that jazz, but we ain't gonna let that happen on this one. Wow, the brakes just get better and better the more I use them. The reason you would want slotted and drilled rotors is to get rid of the heat and the gases that are generated when braking, and that way you don't have fade. I don't think that they last longer. I think quite the opposite with slotted and drilled rotors. They kind of tend to wear faster. And another issue with these brakes, if you're going to put these in your car or you're thinking about it, the cross drilling needs to be cleaned out fairly regularly. Some people swear by every time they change the oil, they take the wheels off and clean the rotors out. But it's just like anything else when you put performance parts in your car. There's serviceability you got to account for that maybe need more than the original parts. You know, the K&N air filters, the washable style air filters come to mind right off the top of my head like that. People just throw them in their car and forget about them and whatever. But you know, you're supposed to service these performance parts pretty much once a month, depending on conditions and all of that. I mean, you at least got to inspect these performance parts once a month yourself. And that's kind of the thing with if you're paying people. I get a lot of people that ask me to do builds for them, and we'll do whatever you want. I mean, we'll put whatever parts on a car. The thing with doing performance work is this work needs to be maintained and diagnosed pretty much while you drive it. What I mean by that is, if you hear a noise, you need to know what to do about it. You know, it can be really inconvenient. I see people put like polyurethane bushings in their car too, and they'll start squeaking. They'll drive through the rain once, and then after the car dries out, the thing squeaks every time they hit a bump, every time they get in and out of it or turn the wheel, and they come to you all angry thinking there's something wrong, but all it is just performance parts need maintenance. That's about it for today. Until next time, keep it out of the cabbage.